Welcome to another episode of Decan Talks Business. I am your humble co-host, not the host actually, Estavo David. And come on, I can't be the only one introducing myself on the show. So let me just call the host. Welcome to Boost My Head.
Yeah.
Welcome to another
I'm your
episode of
host,
Decan Talks
Dozue
Business.
Samuel
I am your
Odira.
humble co-host,
Just
not
listen
the
to that
host
intro
actually,
voice. It's different.
Estavo
So
David. And
today,
I can't be the
today
only
we
one
have
introducing
a wonderful guest.
Welcome to another
I'm your
episode of
host,
Decan Talks
Dozue
Business.
Samuel
I am your
Odira.
humble
Just
co-host,
listen
not
to
the
that
host
intro
actually.
voice. It's different.
Estavo.
President General among the
Alright, put it like this. So, her name is Miss Onatade Oyinola, and she's a serial communication expert, a social innovator, a seasoned event compare, a transformational catalyst, the founder and lead coach of KO Academy, and the founder of Changemakers Africa. That's how I joke. So, Maya, welcome to the show.
Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time you'll be watching this. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, you guys are excited to be here. So,
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you,
You're
Samuel.
welcome.
Thank
You're
you for having me.
welcome.
yes,
Yeah.
Maya. So, let's start the interrogation process.
Interrogation. Should I run away?
No, no, just stay. It's not hot.
Yeah.
The seat is not yet hot.
All
It's still
right.
boiling. Okay. Now, I've called all these titles now. Like a title chief now. Many red caps on your head. So here's my first question to you. Is it light? Okay. My first question to you is, aside all these titles, I can't call it a facade because it's true. All these titles that you have, who were you? Can you tell me about Oyinola before you started getting all these red caps on her head? Tell me about your background.
All right. So first of all, I want to say thank you for having me on the show. Super excited. Shout out to you guys. All right. So my name is Oyinola, and going to the question that you asked, so was I before all of this?
Yeah.
Because definitely there was somebody before all of this.
Yeah.
So let me go into my background
Yeah.
just a little bit. I am from a family of 7,
Mm-hmm.
the first child.
Ah.
Yeah, so I'm the first child. I grew up in Ogun State, Nigeria, Ifo specifically. And if you make your research about Ifo is a place that is synonymous to poverty,
Wow.
illiteracy.
Wow.
I mean, a random teenager in Ifo just wants to drop out of secondary school
Wow.
and probably get themselves pregnant by a guy that rides a bike. That's the biggest ambition.
Wow.
It was that bad.
Wow.
Are
It
you
was that bad.
kidding
I'm
me?
not joking. Make your
Wow.
research. I'm not joking.
So the Okada guys were the ballers.
They were the ballers. I mean, if you have a bike, even if it's not
wow.
working well, even if it's working like some days and it's at the mechanic at
Yeah.
other places, you just have a bike to your name. You're made.
I just do boom boom.
You're made.
Wow.
So that's the extreme. It was that bad.
Wow.
But fortunately, I have a parent that they were different from what the environment was. My father is a chartered accountant.
Oh.
My mom is a chartered management accountant. So
Hmm.
we migrated from Lagos State to that place. So it was more like we were different from everything that was happening around us. And we were those kind of children, that's my siblings and I were those kind of children you would call get inside. Because our fence was like high as imagine what a prison fence looks like.
Wow.
That's how high our fence is, because they knew that environment was not going to give them the results they wanted in their children. So they tried everything possible to ensure that we're not really mixing. So that's my background. I have 4 other siblings, I beg your pardon. We're 5, and then my father and my mother. So that's more like giving a picture of what my background looks like. Into secondary school, into the university. Now, let me give you a short story that pivoted me into all that I'm doing today.
Okay.
So growing up, this is an emotional story.
Please get me hanky.
Okay, so I'm the first child, like I said. There was a little delay before my younger brother came to life. So I had some difficulties growing up academically. Let me ask you a question, David. What's the average age that a child should start reading?
That is going to school.
Like start reading, like you can pick up a book and read.
You can say maybe 2.
Did you say 2?
Yeah,
because
that's too young.
That's too young.
Too young. I
entered
think
school before I
between
was 2.
3, 4.
Were you reading at 2?
We're not
I entered school before I was
reading.
2.
were you reading?
No, reading, like reading.
Reading
Like reading
newspapers,
full set. Oh,
reading
we're
books,
looking at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking
Yeah,
at
5. That's like the average age. But
Yeah.
I did not read until I was past 10 years.
Wow.
Wow.
It was that bad.
Okay.
And my teachers would give feedbacks to my parents saying, "Oh, this girl is just dull. She cannot. She's going through a lot." So it got to that point.
Wow.
My father had to take me out of school. He began to homeschool me, and then he realized that this is not innate dullness, because driving into the future, I graduated in university as the second best graduating student of my department. So that's to tell you that I'm not a dull person.
Wow.
I didn't-
I wish I could give you a standing ovation.
But we can't stand.
Yeah, so I couldn't read. It was terrible. My people that were younger than me were already reading and understand what Africa looks like. The comparison, why is she not reading? Is there a problem? So my father pulled me out of school and began to homeschool me. And it was during the homeschooling process that I noticed that, this girl is not dull. It's just that our pattern of learning is different. And I think that's the fault we have in our educational system in Africa. You don't think that everybody should learn at the same pace.
Yeah.
People don't have the same brain. Some people are cognitive learners. Some people, they cannot learn until they can touch that thing you're trying to teach them.
Yeah.
Some people need to see videos before they understand. Some people are visual,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like, and that's the inspiration behind what I'm planning to study for my master's program. Yeah. So my father withdrew me and then started homeschooling me. And so a year after, I began to read. Just after 1 year. And that was the inspiration behind getting into the university to study a course related to education. So I studied educational technology in the university, graduated as the second best student in my department, and I'm looking forward to continue my master's program in educational reform.
In Nigeria or...
Get me
Can I run away from that question?
Yeah, no,
Okay, I
it's
choose to
fine.
run away.
Yeah, it's fine,
Yeah, thank
it's
you.
fine.
So that's a little picture into my
So you
background.
said, let's go back a bit.
Yeah.
You said your parents relocated from Lagos
Yeah.
to Ogun State. Why?
Okay, so my father, from the story that I heard, because I also asked them, why did you leave Lagos?
Like over place.
Like-
Lagos to come to Ogun State and all of that. So my father had the opportunity to get a landed property it was more like on the platter of gold. It was an opportunity that he just quickly jumped on. Oh, this is huge and this is cheap at this moment, so let me buy this property. So at the time we were at Lagos, we were in a rented property. So my father was like, why should I continue to live in a rented property when I have a landed property?
Yeah.
So he began to build, and that was how we transitioned from Lagos to
Okay, he went in Ogun State.
yeah, it's his house in Lagos State.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your story is touching my heart. I'm
Okay.
serious.
Take out.
So I can try to imagine the trauma, the kind of trauma you went through as a child growing up. It was too much. Like at the age of 10, there's somebody at the age of 5 finishing Queen Premier.
carrying newspaper. I'm like,
And then,
God, am I a spawn?
and then maybe just be in class and see, just look at you, put you at the back seat or something like that.
Yeah,
You're at
it
the
was,
back seat,
it
right?
was, it was that bad.
My God.
When you started reading at the age of 10, which class were you in?
Okay, so beautifully, my father homeschooled me for a year plus. By the time I was good in other subjects, because I was brilliant. It was just the reading thing that was a struggle for me. Yeah. So when after 1 year of being homeschooled, I got back into another school. The school was changed, and then I was given a double promotion because at this point my father had already pumped a lot. When students wake up in the morning, people in the environment, even my siblings, they'll go to school. I don't go to school. I will just wear my normal mufti and then have my books. There's a room that dedicated to my father. Even got me a board.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll go to that room and I'll sit down waiting for my father to come and teach me.
Mm.
I mean, shout out to my dad if you've been
Oh,
seeing the
Daddy.
video. And my mom. My mom was a strong pillar of support because many times when I hated my dad at that point. Yes.
Why?
I won't lie. As a child, I didn't understand what he was doing for me.
Yeah.
So when he would spank me, I used to think that, this man hates me. Why would he let me go to
You
school?
can
So
relate.
so my mom would return and encourage me. Oh, it's for your good. Your daddy loves you, and that's why he's doing this for you. So by the time I was going back to school, I was already very, 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 very good. So I got a double promotion and continued school.
When you got the double promotion, did you thank your daddy?
Now I'm thanking him, but not at the time.
Okay.
Not at the time.
At that time,
Yeah.
okay. So you said your dad and your mom basically studied the same thing.
Yeah, so my daddy studied accounting And I remember that I was already bettered before he finished his ICANN examination. I remember growing up, I think I was around 4 when he aced his, I'm not sure, 4, 5, 6, that age range, when he aced his final examination. So I still have that picture in my head of those nights I'll wake up and see my daddy jacking.
Wow.
Jacking, morning, afternoon, night. It was final exam, so he had to really read very hard. So my mom also did accounting. Yeah, so it's more like they studied.
Are they from the same state?
Hey, no. My mom is from Oyo State.
Wow.
My dad is from Ogun State, so that makes me.
That makes you what?
State.
Oh, you prefer going with your
Yeah,
dad?
my dad.
She can account.
Account what?
That's why you're not a accountant now, so you can account for everything.
I can count.
Yeah.
Because I believe if parents study the same thing, they are likely to be from the same states, or their ancestral lineage. One must meet.
There's no alignment anyway. Ogun State or Oyo State.
You're not lying.
You will see that you will hear that as you migrated from Lagos to Ogun State, just when you check your family tree, you will see.
I have to go and check that.
Where did Okay. So, ma'am, when did you start your communication journey? Because almost all the titles you were relating to communication. In fact, let me start. Your KO Academy. What does KO mean? Is it knockout also?
Okay, so KO means core in Yoruba.
Okay, so what's core?
Core means right.
Right.
So there's a story behind that as well. I started the academy training people to just write. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Just write. Because I realized that some people have difficulties with communicating in writing.
Yeah.
They can stand up to speak, but if you give them a pen to communicate their message in writing, then that's where the error starts, or that's where the problem begins. So it started as an academy solely dedicated to teaching people how to write, helping entrepreneurs to manage their book projects, helping them to transform their book from ideation level to launch phase. Okay. But as time went on, we moved into communication as a whole. Yeah. So public speaking, emotional intelligence, or anything that has to do with writing, except sign language.
Sign language. Okay, so communication. I'll start with why communication.
Okay, so for someone who has struggled with academics at a level of our life, I realized that one thing I could do effortlessly was communication. Like, I am a natural communicator. I love to. If you give me a pen to write, in fact, writing now has become something that I do every day. It's more like an habit now.
Yeah.
So I got into the university and realized that not everybody's like me. Some people, when we have presentation in school, some people would rather run away than present. And funny enough, the most amazing part of this whole situation is these people have messages. They have messages worth sharing. But the process of communicating it is where the friction happens. And because of that, they've learned to swallow up what they have. So instead of sharing their God-given message, their inspirations with their world, sharing it with the world to flavor the world, they would rather keep it inside. And what's the worth of a message that is not shared? So I'm like, I'm gonna get these people out of this mess. Yeah. Do you get?
I get you.
So that's necessary.
Like, how many people have registered for your academy?
Whoa. Okay, so I have free classes and then I have the paid classes. But if I'm to put all in aggregates, we'll be looking at 4K plus.
Okay. Wow. When did you start?
I started in 2022.
2022?
Yeah.
Your final year or?
Yeah, that was months after I finished from the university.
Did you do your NYSC at your academy or?
No.
Come on now.
No, it's possible. People
it's
actually
possible.
do their
I
NYSC
know. I can remember one person.
Yeah, I do. I can remember. So, but that was not it. I served at Ondo State. I served in a school at Ondo State. I did not serve at Core Academy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's always in school.
Yeah, because I love education. I'm even planning to do my master's in education.
Yeah.
Because of my story. There are so many people out there like me that are struggling unnecessarily when we have technologies that can help them, when we have visual aids or the visual materials that can aid their learning process. Do you understand? So why don't we get into the educational system and help schools incorporate these things into their curriculums?
Yeah.
So how many schools have you reached out to incorporate it in their system?
Okay, so actually now I would not say that I'm doing a lot in that aspect. Do you understand? I am planning to, it's more like a future, how do I say it? It's
Future
an
projection,
aspiration,
yeah.
projection. Okay, I'm going into the educational system. I personally believe that the educational system is my own mountain of influence that God has sent me to shine my light. Do you understand?
That's making sense to me.
So if our president decides to give you Minister of Education,
She will collect now.
will you collect?
Why
or-
not?
Why she don't collect? Like why
Why
won't
won't
she?
I?
Remember, it's APC in power.
Well, no,
It's
leave,
the impact
leave.
that matters, actually.
She
impact.
has to collect.
David has something to say.
She has to collect.
She has to
If
collect.
she doesn't collect me, I'll push her enter.
It's an opportunity to do all that I desire to do in the educational system.
Who is your greatest, or who is your model? Who do you model
Oh.
after?
I model after first of all, my dad.
This disciplinarian.
Yes. Yes.
The popsy
He
that
is.
sits you down and tell you put the white ball and then sparks you for
He
that.
is, but he is still my biggest model. So
Yeah.
my father is someone, and I my desire is that I get married to someone who is like my father. Why? Because if I talk about the first time I experienced excellence, it was from my father.
Yeah.
The first time I experienced raw godliness, it was from my father.
Yeah.
The first time I experienced diligence, it was from my father. So it is more like that model that projected possibilities to me early in life.
Yeah.
And I used to tell people that I have an advantage. I have parental advantage. I also have the advantage of starting early.
Okay.
And that still boils down to having good parents that are able to say, you know what, this is what we want you to become like. And they are daily putting in efforts to ensure that you're becoming the best version of yourself. So my biggest model is my dad. Do you want me to add more?
Yeah, so apart from your dad, apart from your parents,
you're
who
also
else?
model the jacking of your dad too.
Yeah, I would say that.
You jack wherever
I
possible.
do. I try my best. So apart from my dad, someone that inspires me a lot would have to be Robin Sharma.
Who's that?
Sharma.
Yes,
Oh.
Robin Sharma is the writer of the book 5am Club.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've read 5am
5am
Club
Club.
like 6 times. You know.
Our 5am club.
5am. Okay, so I stumbled on 5am Club during COVID.
COVID doing a lot.
COVID doing a lot. Because a lot of people have transitional stories. Had transitional stories during COVID.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
A
it
lot.
was like that for me as well. I stumbled on 5am Club. I do love the way that Robin Sharma was able to help us understand that we are just a result of our habits.
Mm.
And the reason why you're struggling with the goals that you have not crushed is because you have not built systems and structures that allows you to crush those goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so instead of struggling to be a disciplined person, why not manage your time in such a way that you are doing things that a disciplined person would do?
Yeah.
What would a disciplined person do when they wake up in the morning?
Yeah.
What would a disciplined person do before they go to bed at night?
Mm.
If you're able to implement those strategies, then you're just going to become the person naturally.
Yeah.
I tell people that don't try to crush a goal. Try to become the person.
Mm.
Because if you crush a goal, it could be a one-off thing. But when you build habits, you can
Continue.
multiply, replicate that result multiple times, and even help others to
Get
become
that. Yeah.
that version of themselves. So
Okay, so you were talking about this Robin Sharma thing and about a habit. I got something from you. You said writing became a habit for you, and you said stay communicating easily and naturally. So I want to know, which part of communication did you start with early in life? Was it the verbal or the writing? Because the verbal can't be a habit, so the writing is a habit. So I can speculate that maybe it was the verbal that started first.
Okay. So the one that started first for me is actually the writing.
The writing.
Yes.
So how did it not become a habit for you?
It became a habit because I fell in love with it so much that I began to do it consistently.
Okay.
So let me share another story. I'm a story person.
Please share.
Go ahead.
We're together. Story.
I discovered my writing abilities very early in life.
Okay.
I remember that when I was, leaving primary school, going to secondary school, I would rip out book covers Like, you know, when you finish school
Yeah.
and you do not exhaust your notebooks,
Mhm.
they'll give you your books to take them home.
Yeah.
So I'll rip out the parts that I did not write anything. I'll
That's
staple
good.
it and then I'll write stories
Stories
in
in
there.
it.
Take it to my father. Oh, this is beautiful. The encouragement that I got made me feel like I was doing something that actually makes sense for me to get this much encouragement from my parents. So that was how my writing journey started. Continued. At some point, I was a struggling public speaker.
Mm.
Yeah, it was innate, but it was raw. It wasn't processed, so I was struggling with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it took me. How did I process it? I was gaining knowledge, attending conferences, reading books, taking courses before I now became this version that you see. And I feel like that's what many young people need to understand, that your potentials will come to you raw. It's not as though you don't have that innate. It's there. But you have the responsibility to now cook it up, refine it into what you can present to the world, and they can say, this is fantastic.
You don't.
Exactly. So,
Okay, so let's move it back to 2020 during COVID. How was it like in your family, not being able to go out to do the things you love? Or what were you doing during COVID? Sit at home.
It's a big question. Okay, so for my family and I, COVID time was bonding time for us. COVID time was loving upon each other time for us. And COVID time was also capacity building time for us. So it was during COVID that I first read the Bible from the start to the finish. And it wasn't alone. It was my father saying, okay, guys, nobody's going out. There is no job for anybody to do. So we're going to break down the Bible into a number of days, and then we're going to read it. We're going to have Bible study sessions every evening by 5 p.m. And we finished the Bible.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, it's a wow.
You guys
it's a
started
wow
from Old or
thing.
New Testament?
We started from Genesis and ended in Revelation.
So we're reading Mishan, Joshan, give
Those
birth to
Leviticus,
Bashan.
we read everything.
Oh God!
Reading that part of the Bible always
Can be
bores
boring.
me.
It can be boring.
me
But the
out.
beautiful thing is, when you're reading it in group, it becomes less boring for you, because after every session we have discussions, we brainstorm together, and then we just allow the Holy Spirit to do his thing.
That's
But apart from that, COVID was one of the years that I kind of saw that I was carrying too much of raw potentials. I had more time for social media during COVID, so I realized that I was now beginning to see people that were doing well.
Yeah.
It was more like I had not really seen this because I was busy with school. I didn't really have time for social media. But getting into social media during COVID opened my eyes to see that you can be phenomenal. You can be excellent. You can be inspiring. Everything we need is already inside us. So it was during COVID-19 that I told myself, it's time to cook up. It's time to cook up. So I started to read books. I started to just do a lot of things that developed me as a person. So COVID was bonding time for my family and I, and for me was development time.
Okay, so what's your favorite verse of the Bible?
Favorite verse of the Bible?
Yeah.
That would be Matthew 5:14. Yeah, the light of the world. A city that is set on
Cannot be
hid. Yeah.
What's the motto of your academy?
Okay, so the motto of Academy is raising professional communicators.
Okay.
Professional communicators.
That will become later the light of the world.
Yeah, it's not that long. It's just raising professional communicators.
communicators.
Yeah.
Okay, so communication. You're saying people come. So how were you able to make a business out of communication?
Communicating like
we are communicating. Yeah, we are communicating. So how are you able to now start collecting my money to talk to me, or making me to talk to somebody?
Okay, so this is what I will start by saying. All of those things came as a result of something that I heard from DDK. That's Mama Debola Decan.
Yeah.
I was in a webinar with her, and then she mentioned something when she said, "You all need to know that there is a business side to your gifting. And you have the responsibility to master the business side of your gifting. Because if God gives you a potential, He wants you to also monetize. While you're making impact, you should also be able to earn from what you carry." So it was a record moment for me. I was like, that's the same way I saying. Like, oh, okay. Okay. So I started free classes.
Yeah.
I wanted to test run what I had. Do you understand? I started free classes. Oh, you guys come in. I'll have people who say, I cannot write. Like, I've given up. It's not my thing.
Sorry,
Mhm.
sorry to cut you short.
It's no problem.
Write in the sense like writing a book or just writing.
So writing in the sense of being able to put down what you have in your mind.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so for instance, let's assume that
Okay.
someone that is, let's say you now, at the
Yeah.
end of this podcast, you just want to like articulate your experience today,
Yeah.
and then you're struggling. You know what you want to write in your mind. I mean, you experienced it, but then articulating it becomes a problem. Yeah, so that's the hard.
So it means when they say they cannot write in their free class.
A lot of people came into the free class saying, "Oh, I don't think this class would help me," or "I don't think I'll be able to write. I've given up on myself. I have tried. I've struggled." And 1 week into class, they're coming back to say, "Jesus, what happened? What did you do to us?"
I can see. I can write.
I was blind, but now I see. It was a lot of testimonies, and I was like, okay, if testimonies are coming in, that means I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
So I went on to not just organize free classes, and I'm like, okay, how can I monetize this? But that was after a whole year of teaching for free.
We are together.
So let me raise
Wow.
that loud. I was after 1 year of
Uh-oh.
teaching without charging anybody a dime.
Wow.
Yes. So, but during that 1 year, I was also taking time to learn how to build systems and structures. I was trying to learn how to, if I want to create an academy that gives people an excellent experience, what do I need to do? Started and signing up for mentorship classes. So after 1 year, getting into the following year, I'm like, no more free, guys.
Let's
Time
make
to
that
pay. So that was how I got into coaching people to write. And
Yeah.
as time went on, coaching people to find their voice,
Yeah.
coaching people to become confident public speakers. Like, how do you stand in front of kings and you're still able to express what you have in your mind? You know, some people get in front of people and they're already, they have the message in them, but they're
The message they should know.
so how are you able to amass so much confidence that you're able to communicate what you have inside of you? So yeah, that's how the monetization.
Were your classes virtual or physical?
They were virtual,
Okay,
completely. Even till now, it's
Yeah,
virtual.
it's still virtual.
Yeah.
So when you started this your communication, people paying their money, to get the moolah. Did you have any experience with entitled people? Like they come and say, why will you pay? Me and you now. You know me now. We have to.
Do you know I'm laughing? Because okay, I got a lot.
Okay.
People coming to say, am I not your cousin? Funny enough, you would even say, okay, come in, pay like half
Half of the
and
stuff.
come in. And then they will come in and still not be serious.
Yeah.
Do you understand that kind of thing? Because familiarities are, what is
Yeah.
the last thing?
Not your best to
It wasn't that you that we carried when you were a baby, that kind of thing. So there was a lot of entitlement mentality. There were a lot of, and what saved me was putting structure.
Yeah.
Because if you're coming to my academy, you're not meeting me first.
Mm.
You're not even before you meet me in class. The whole process from getting you to pay, to getting your details, to putting you in class, to sending you your matric number and all of that. We have structure.
You get matric number.
We do.
Hold up.
Wear matric gown.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, we do.
Are you working towards the physicals?
Definitely,
Class?
definitely. That's
Ah, na university.
So this is it.
Wow.
When I was going to start co-academy, I asked myself, if I get admission into Harvard University today, what would the experience look like? Will Harvard University say, oh, give me your number, let me add you to a group chat?
Okay.
So I wanted the whole excellence, the ambience that you would, the feeling you would have when you're in Oxford, when you're in Harvard. So I created structures that allow these things to happen.
Wow.
So if you're coming into my academy, before you meet me, you would meet the admission officer. Before you meet me, you meet our community manager. Before you meet me.
All on WhatsApp.
Not on WhatsApp. We get your email. We send
Okay.
you your admission letter containing your matric number. We send you, then we add you up into the class.
Why you don't go serious for you? You go serious. Like, I see all this thing.
Wait, so like how many years? Is it normal 4 years? Or
No, it's a month course.
Virtual 4 years. Virtual 4 years.
it's
No, no,
possible
it's
that
just a
like
month.
when you say give me my matric number, I'm expecting at the end of the class I should be adding BSc communication and writing expert.
Yeah, you can do that because you'll be certified.
and
Yes,
it is
you will.
recognized.
Yes, you will. So it's
Wow.
but it's a 1 month intensive.
Intensive.
Emphasis
High
on intensive.
intensive.
Shiggy,
You must
shiggy
not
field.
miss a class.
You must not miss it. Like, we have what's it called now? We have activities. We have follow people that will follow you up. If you are not showing up in class, you have people to follow you up. What's going on? We have writing challenge that you have to go on. So we don't just coach you and say, "Oh, go, you are done."
Okay.
We want to see that
Want
you
to
are
see that it's
implementing
fruits.
everything that you have learned, and then
Exactly.
you are actually growing. Some people, when it gets to the writing challenge part, boom, they have issues again. We take them of what exactly is going on, and then we help them find their voice. Even in the public speaking class, we have video creation challenge. So if you come into the academy, you have camera shy, all these things, boom, you will share them up before
We
you
delivered now. Take it.
impartation
Ushers,
time.
now.
So it's like that.
So it's basically on WhatsApp or Telegram.
Okay, so we have a Google Classroom class that we use,
Okay.
but most times our classes holds on Telegram, and we also have video courses that you get the links for.
Okay. So, walk us on your journey to creating Core Academy. Let's talk about you said when did you start Core Academy first? 2022. Let's talk about your first year in being an entrepreneur or being a CEO of an academy that is having a likelihood to Harvard. You're trying to put Harvard in Nigeria. Now, how was your first 6 months at Core Academy? What was the shege you faced? And how did you overcome the shege? To tell it banza, you understand?
And after the 6 months, Shege successfully.
Okay, so
Oh,
I don't think an entrepreneur will ever get out of shege.
Yeah.
It depends on your definition of shege.
Mm.
Because the bigger you become, the bigger you get, the bigger your challenges.
Yeah.
Right? Do you agree with me?
I agree.
Do you agree with me?
Every level is a devil. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so I have a 9-to-5 job apart from what I do.
Wow.
And I'm saying this because I see my boss who has a multinational companies in Africa and all of that. I'm the executive assistant to the CEO.
Wow.
I see him sit down and he's sweating under AC because he's trying to get things to work. Do you understand?
Yeah.
He's also an entrepreneur. Someone who is also trying to get maybe 10 people into their class is also an entrepreneur. So you would continue to face challenges and challenges and challenges as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So back to my own story. First 6 months into establishing Core Academy, I realized that there was a lot I still needed to learn.
Okay.
Not just in what I was teaching people, but in how I was going to run the business to achieve profitability.
Yeah.
And that is why I used to say that universities they're not really giving us what we need.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. Because when you get into the market world, into the market, into the market, you realize that what did I even learn in school? What course did you say I learned?
You just carry paper.
Because the demands word apart from what school actually gave to you.
Yeah.
So I realized that today I had to learn a lot. Today I'm learning marketing. Tomorrow I'm learning structure building. Next tomorrow I'm learning registration. It was just a lot of trying to learn this, trying to learn that, so that we can create something that is solid.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So the shege came in form of knowledge gap. Do you understand? I needed to fill those knowledge gaps to achieve the excellence that I had projected for the academy. And another shege will be the whole thing we talked about, the what's it called now? No. The entitlement. Yeah, people come and say, this. And another thing was people not believing in me. I mean, because at the time, it was, okay, so this is it. COVID caused a lot of people to now begin to focus on skills.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
because, I mean, skills was not really a thing. But COVID helped us to understand that, guys, if you don't learn skills, tech just boom. It was like speed of light. So it helped people to understand that, Jesus, I need to have a skill. Because if you realize, it was during COVID, it was people that had skills that could now work with brands online, it was their time. I mean, they were really balling at the time.
Bold.
So at that time, people were still like writing. Writing didn't feel like a thing to them.
Yeah.
What can you make out of writing? I wouldn't even like to, even my parents. Do you understand? At times I would sit with my phone and I would be okay, long cut. And at the time it's like, what are you always doing with your phone? But now that they are seeing results, they're like,
she's working.
Right on. That's my daughter. So it was pretty much me trying to. I wasn't trying to convince anybody that what I was doing was right, but I was just trying to get myself strong. that as much as my parents were, and I understand their perspective, don't get too attached to your phone, don't get addicted to, so that you spend your time wisely and all of that. By the time, I also spent a lot of time trying to concentrate. I'm not just wasting time on phone. I'm trying to reach people. I'm trying to be the personal brand.
Yeah.
I'm trying to project the value that I carry to people and all of that. So it was those three things I would say were the challenges that I faced.
What about the
Major challenges.
Okay. So what about the let's say human resource? In the sense that you're trying to bring people to get into your vision. They may buy it, yeah, but they may not buy it fully. Or they may buy and still have some excesses that you have not filled. So how are you able to not cut them into shape to your Harvard style?
That was beyond. It was even beyond 6 months. It took like 1 year, and I'm still even in that process.
Wow.
Do you understand? So the thing is, if you have a vision, don't wait for people to believe in your vision.
Yeah.
I believe you have the sole responsibility to own that vision, carry that vision, project that, carry it on your head, because that is when you begin to produce results, and it is those results that people would see and will make them now begin to align with what you are doing.
Yeah.
That takes me back to Matthew chapter 5 verse 16. Let your light so shine before me,
men,
that they may see.
My God.
So sometimes you would not even be perfect while starting.
Yeah.
But give what you're carrying time.
They will not see it.
They will see it, and then they would
glorify
God in heaven, and they will buy into.
And they will give you a car.
What? and they will buy into what you carry. So it was pretty much me just saying, you know what, I know what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a core academy that in the next 10 years, people are flying in from all over the world for workshops.
Yeah.
For workshops where we're having CEOs, head of state, helping them to become better communicators. I mean, that's what is in my mind.
Yeah.
So if you're saying what is in what you're doing, I don't need your opinion actually. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So
Okay, so your academy, like what's the age range? Have you had elderly people come into your academy or just youth?
Also for my academy, we have two categories. We have the one that trains teenagers. Yeah, so the age range of 13, 12 to like 18. Then from 18 above to like mid-40s, 50s. We have a class for them. So it was more like two categories.
Okay, but you have them coming in.
Yes, definitely.
I can imagine. How do you respect them?
Mommy, welcome.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to class. Okay, so the thing is, I don't think I've ever had issues with respecting them. So now I remember this scenario. I remember there was somebody that I look up to, more like a mentor to me, that now ended up registering in my class. I begged this woman. I said, "Ma, let me coach you personally." She said, "No. I like it when there's corporate." So I was like, Jesus, how will I like refer to this woman and all of that? So what I did was I created a rule that everyone be referred to as Miss or Mr. in the class.
Yeah.
So that makes it like everybody's on a general platform, whether you're 18 or you're 50, we call you a Miss, we call you a Mr. And that really worked.
Yeah. Okay.
Managing the whole, how do I respect the person?
I respect it.
May your village people not catch you. Because I know one thing about Yoruba people, they are big on respect.
Respect is very much important.
Big on respect.
Very much important.
In the morning, the grammar, the carol.
It's a thing for Yoruba.
So that's why. Okay, so how have you been able to, give back to where you came out from, saying that F1, Abi?
What's that?
Like your community.
E4.
Oh, E4. Sorry, I'm not.
It's not F4.
I actually heard F4.
No. Pardon me, because
okay,
I'm an Igbo man.
Okay.
So.
It's fine.
Wait, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. Oh God,
Wazobia.
Are you whining straight?
So have you gone back, or you're waiting for the perfect time to go back?
Okay, so I have, and that takes us to Changemakers Africa. I have a social enterprise that I run, an NGO called Changemakers Africa.
I want to ask you on that, though. Was fine.
So we're here, we're there already.
Okay.
So I have Changemakers Africa, and it is through Changemakers Africa that I've given back massively to my community.
So do they still believe those that have bike Are they
The
happening?
community is large.
Oh,
Do you get? But we
Okay.
are trying our best to penetrate secondary schools to
yeah.
change this narrative.
Catch them young.
How do you do that?
Okay, so we have Changemakers Africa. It's a social enterprise that is committed to raising young African change catalysts.
Mm.
Young African
Change catalysts.
Yeah. So the thing is, one thing I know is that if we do not invest in our tomorrow, we'll weep, we'll cry.
Mm.
Definitely.
And the best way to invest in our tomorrow is to invest in the young of today, because counting 50 years to this time, so many people in their 50s will no longer be alive
Yep,
to be
definitely.
these teenagers in the world now. So how
Yeah.
do we help them understand who they are?
Mhm.
Because I believe that the beginning of exploit is really understanding who you are.
Mm.
There is always a limit to your exploit if you do not have a deep understanding of who you are. If you don't understand of your source, if you don't have understanding of who you are, and if you don't have understanding of what you carry.
Yeah.
Those three things are very important knowledge that everybody should have, especially as teenagers. And the earlier you know these things, the faster you would go. Do you understand? So we have a Changemakers Africa, where we reach out to teenagers, we preach the gospel to them. I'm a Christian, and then we talk to them. Do you want to say something?
No, I'm
He's
just like
smiling.
I just love how you always like you're proud to say
Yeah, I am a Christian.
I'm a Christian.
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah, it's good.
So we preach the gospel to them. We talk to them about purpose discovery, and we also have a year-long mentorship community where we teach them on leadership. Yes. So that's
So
how.
And
for,
just-
for
and
how
just to
long?
clear you-
For how long?
Changemakers Africa even started earlier than Core Academy. Changemakers Africa started in 2021. Yeah.
So what was the driving force for that before your academy?
Back to my background.
Flashback in African Magic Black and White.
Okay.
Back to my background. So it was in the university that I understood that there's a thing called purpose.
Yeah.
And that you need to find your purpose. You need to understand who you are. It's more like discover.
Yeah.
Maybe find is not the right word.
Discover.
Discover, because it's already inside of you.
Yeah.
So you are discovering it, you are unleashing it, and all of that. So I realized that when I discovered purpose, my life changed a lot. I became much more visionary. I became much more different from the kind of community I was in, because now I had a picture of who I am,
Yeah.
and I had a picture of where I'm going to. So it was more like there's a picture and there's the drive.
Mm.
But then when I compared that version of myself to where I came from, that's Ifo.
Yeah.
I realized that there's a lot of
Contrast.
difference. So how can I help these people to also find their voice,
Find your picture.
also find their
Your picture.
so yeah, the picture of themselves to also find their purpose, and that was the inspiration behind betting Changemakers Africa. And it's been a beautiful journey since the last 3 years. We've been able to reach thousands of teenagers across Nigeria.
You speak in thousands. Your
Yes.
academy 4,000.
Yeah,
This
and we're going to
one,
millions and
thousands.
billions.
The lights bright. Where we
Definitely.
understand.
And we
Lights
just
bright. Just to clear you guys, I'm part of. I am
Yeah, David
part
is a
of the
very
Changemakers
committed
Africa.
volunteer to hold that we're doing
change
actually.
makers.
Yeah, so I'm a
Okay.
Can I
Changemaker
thank you
too.
on stage?
No, hallelujah, man.
Okay, so I've heard a lot today, and
Need to share.
inspiring what you do with the kids. Like you say, we need to start from the small to train.
Grassroots, yeah.
Yeah, because when they grow up, it's going to be that difficult to change them.
Mhm.
So, how are your siblings?
My siblings are
Where did they fit into? Did they fit into your vision? Did they buy your vision? Or they left? Let my
That's the
senior
group
sister
chat.
let my senior sister be doing what she wants to do.
Okay, so I would say that I'm excited to say that some of them are still quite young.
Oh,
Yeah, I told you like there's like a gap between my
Yeah.
younger brother and I. So, but I'm excited and proud to say that they are doing amazingly well when it comes to all of these things as well. So my younger brother runs a radio station in his school, which is
Wow.
That's Where They FM, and he's also a very visionary person.
Mhm.
Very visionary person. So it's more like everybody we're just doing our thing and everybody's
Yeah.
just trying to, and it's easier for them because there's somebody that is they are seeing at the front that is inspiring them.
Yeah, that's
You know, I had a speaking engagement in Ogun State last week, and I took my brother. And when we go back, I was like, I cannot do less. That's what he told me. He said, I can't. I said, you cannot even do less because there's somebody who's already inspiring them. There's like somebody who's a massive inspiration to them.
Okay, so here's my question to you.
Mhm.
Firstborn, how are you able how are you able to manage this pressure of firstborn? Because here's what I've noticed. An average African firstborn cannot pursue his dreams because he's trying to solve the family problem or
Okay.
deal with trying to bring the younger siblings up. But you have told me change makers, you have told me about core academy and other things that you'll try to pursue. Just like your
Even
dreams.
aspiring
Aspiring
masters.
She looked for a picture, a selfie, So how are you able to manage the pressure of being a firstborn and still able to pursue your
First
dreams?
daughter for that
First
matter.
daughter, firstborn, and you still have others looking up to you as usual. Sure, you cannot be able to do one or two things. So how are you able to manage that pressure and then still pursue your dreams?
Okay, so I'll say that my story is distinct because I am not from the typical African family.
Yeah.
I'm from a family that gives me like 100% support. So I'm not really experiencing the pressure. Do you understand? So when it comes to my younger ones, it's more like I'm just modeling things to them. They see the things that I do. They see how I inspire people. Sometimes I even take them along for our impact outreaches. So it's more like I'm not saying do this, be an impactful person, discover your purpose. No, I'm acting it out. So they are seeing it. And that's the biggest form of inspiration a person can ever get. People don't change most times when you give them words. I'm sitting there now, David, I want you to be a purposeful person. I want to be an inspiring person. But it's better when when you're seeing my results.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister is on this stage today. Oh, my sister is doing this today. She's receiving this award today. She's being called in this place today. That's amazing. So that's like the best way to model anything. And it boils down to parenting as well.
Yeah.
The best way to train your child is not to let them see that even in critical situations you are standing to say the truth.
Yeah.
And that way they are just like, mommy does not lie. Or it's not just a thing for them because it is not something they witnessed, right?
Yeah.
So as for the pressure, I would not say I'm experiencing any pressure. I have parents that support me, that tell me you're going to be fine. You don't have to try to meet up with any expectation. And on my own end, I'm also trying my best to be the best daughter and the best elder sister to my sister.
I think I'll have to congratulate mommy on that.
Can I ask you,
Yeah.
please, does your parent need extra child?
Wait, where are you ready to?
We are complete.
Wait, are you trying to?
No. But I'm actually,
We're actually five.
I
We're
need
lost.
to give your parents a
Yeah.
5-star
Give them
rating.
their flowers.
They
like,
deserve-
give
they
my
deserve-
flowers.
Yeah, I hope one day this video will get to them because they shatter the myth behind every African parent.
You said they meet, they broke dysfunctional.
Sure, they broke the table. They shattered the table.
They broke the tables.
They did a
Yeah.
good
Ate
job.
and left
They
no
did
crumbs.
actually did a great
They
job
did.
when
They
it
did.
when it comes to training their children. Like you can hear people have been proud of their parents.
Yeah.
Sometimes you say, my father did not want me to do this. My father did this. But I'm hearing now that my father did this, did that, and he trained us very like. I'm sure your siblings are also proud
Yeah.
of your parents.
That's why I said when we started, I have parental advantage.
Yeah, that's lovely. I also do have a question. Pardon
Okay,
me, sir. Daddy played this role. Did Daddy tell you about his growing up? Either maybe he was trying to change something, or maybe his father did the same thing he's doing to you, like the same modeling.
I like that question.
That question is deeper.
It's actually deep. So my father was more like trying to recreate a narrative with us, with his family, because he grew up in a polygamous family. His father had, I think, 3 wives. Do you get? So you can imagine the story and the dramas behind all of that. So it was more like, and then he found Christ early. So he was patterning his family to what he found in the scripture. Parents are supposed to be pillar of support. Parenting is a ministry.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to start up a church before you start a ministry. The moment you birth a child into this
You
world,
don't start work.
you are a pastor, you are a mentor, you are a father, you are a mother, you are a teacher, you are a cook, you are everything. Do you get? It's a ministry. And I think that's one thing that young people need to understand, that you don't just jump into marriage. You need to begin to see parenting as a ministry because you are stewarding, you are a steward to God.
Yeah.
God has put those children in your bosom so that you can nurture them.
Yeah.
So you have the responsibility to play vital roles in their life, contribute to their life, support them until they become all that God has called them to be.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be a parent. It is. And you must embrace that privilege and ensure that you're not taking that privilege for granted.
True.
Do you understand? So all of these things I learned from my parent. My mother is also a very supportive woman, very interesting woman, and very godly woman as well.
Maybe one of these days we'll have them on this podcast so that
Maybe one of these days.
we
She just
would
bring them over.
know, would have to, I don't know, the world needs to see that there is a change in parenting. It is not the usual negative. I grew up around negative aspect of marriage from small. I'm always the one counseling. But then
Not his parents, so.
not my parents. Not my parents actually.
Okay.
Just to clear you, not his parents. So.
No, not my parents actually,
Okay.
but it's like
understand.
news I hear divorce. This person shoots this person kills this person,
That's a lot.
father beating, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm sitting here and I hearing he decided to change
The narrative.
the narrative with his family and it's good.
And he did it successfully.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure Daddy also tried. Daddy was a chester one way because, you know, when you were in school and then you had this learning gap, kind of. I'm sure they would have backfired it on the father or the mother and saying, now, this will pick himself, you know, they read or something like that. And then Daddy would just be like, no, let me homeschool.
Let me my daughter.
Let me homeschool. Let me just cover her, you know. Cover me with that blood. Let's cover me. and Daddy covered you and Daddy homeschooled you. Like, Daddy, I give you your flowers, yeah? Just catch it, it's virtual.
And my mom.
Mommy too, please take out that flower. It's rose.
Thank you, Mommy.
Women supporting women.
Yes. Do
You
you
must have to add.
Do you get?
Yeah.
My daddy played a lot of roles, but it would not have been possible without my
Without
mom's
mom.
support.
Yeah.
So my mom was more like, she was always everywhere. The
Yeah.
backstage. She was just that woman that after I've had a rough time with my dad when he was homeschooling me. My mom was like my succor. She would hold me and be like, everything is good.
Mom played it well.
Do you get?
She played good cop, bad
So
cop.
after I've had bad goals with dad,
Bad
all
goals,
day,
yeah.
mommy would just come back from work and
You-
help me and
You know,
encourage
your
me.
refuge.
So you mentioned you are doing a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
How do you
Manage
that 9 to 5 with your academy?
your academy, your organization, because Student Africa now is an organization,
Yes.
not just a social enterprise. So your academy, your organization, and your 9 to 5. That's big.
And a lot of other things.
And a lot
that
of
nobody
other
sees.
things are dead.
That's nobody.
That's not like in the face of people. A lot of
Yeah,
other
a lot
personal.
of other. So how are you able to manage that? That's big.
I'll say God.
Hallelujah.
I'll say God. And I'll say structure.
Structure again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
So let
this
me
is
say
9 to 5.
Let me say an instance.
Okay.
You know what a traffic light looks like?
Yeah.
How many times do you see these officers where there's a traffic light?
Not quite.
It's quite rare.
Yeah, rare.
Yeah, so,
But everybody knows what to do the moment they sight the traffic lights. You know
Civil
that
people.
you're coming from this route and you see a red, you're stopping. You don't need any officers come and say, hey, Oga, oh yeah, stop.
Carry
No.
carry red
It's not,
flag.
it's not necessary. That's how I would explain structure. Everything is already automated.
Yeah.
There is everybody knows what to do. And I feel like that's one of the ways you'll be able to manage life generally. Even if you're a mother, you have a ministry, you have a career, how would you balance all those things? It's structure, right? Putting systems and structures in place to ensure that whether you're there or not, things can still. I can go off on Core Academy today, like off. Nobody will be able to contact me. Nobody will be able to see me, and I know that a court will still run from beginning to the end. Why? Because I have human resource that knows that I have trained. These people are people. Everyone that works with me at Core Academy are people that finished from Core Academy.
Wow.
Most likely, because we used to have best graduating students per cohort. Most of them are best graduating students. I have poured myself into them, and I'm not afraid that they will leave any day.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Sure.
If they leave any day, I'm happy to have contributed to their
To
growth
their
process.
growth.
But while they're still around, they know what to do.
Yeah.
They know the process. They understand the projection. progression rather,
progression.
yeah. So they know that, oh, this is the first step, this is the second step, this is the third step. We have classes. They know where to get the classes and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's more like I know that things will run. So on my hand, what I'm just doing is the marketing aspect and also ensuring that I'm projecting for the future. Where next? Where are we going next? What's our next big move?
Yeah.
Do you understand? How can we get this to a global level? How can we penetrate certain places? For instance, we started going into corporate coaching now. So I'm always thinking, how do we get into organizations? How do we get to places like MTN? How do we get to places like Dangote to coach people and help them become better communicators? So while there is already a structure running, I'm doing the thinking
To
work
plan a bigger
into
structure.
the future.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really, really lovely.
That's how I'm able to balance all this. And for Changemakers Africa, it's the same thing. Structure.
Changemakers Africa, have you guys? Okay, let me not cast anything.
Go ahead, cast.
but I don't want to overcast. I'm not a
Okay.
broadcaster. But change makers. Let's talk about change makers first before we start wrapping up. Tell me about change makers. How were you able to? I know I'm part of it, but let me be able to say that it's not part of it. So how are you able to run change makers? You're trying to reach out to schools. Definitely some schools may reject you.
Sure.
Some may tell you we don't have time for any of these japajantis and so how are you able to reach out to schools to pour out whatever vision you have for the kids?
So let's start from the rejection part. I've had rejections like countless times. I know that I cannot count how many times I've entered offices of maybe head of schools and they'll be like, okay, our curriculum is full, oh, we don't have time for all this. And then you walk out with shoulders dropped, feeling. But now there's nothing any school head can tell me that will discourage me. I'll just carry my bag and leave.
Your chest down.
I mean, I will dust my shoes and you know what? On to the next place. So rejection is normal.
Yeah.
I've learned to accept it and to turn it into a drive and an inspiration to do better. However, I have the gift of men.
Yeah.
So that has helped me to penetrate into places that I would never have gotten to by myself. Do you understand? For instance, we collaborated with Lagos State Ministry of Education in February.
Yeah.
And I did not, if I was to go through the normal process, it would take me months to finally reach the office of the person that will stamp and give us a go ahead. But all of that happened in 2 days.
Wow. Access.
That's the word.
The gift of
So all
men.
of that happened. So the gift of men is something that I would say has really helped us a lot. We get into schools. We've had outreaches in states that I've never stepped my feet to. For instance, Port Harcourt, they had their outreach in, I think, about 3 to 4 secondary schools. I've never been to Port Harcourt, but there are men, there are people there.
They're doing it for you.
For God.
For you and God.
For
Like they bought your vision.
And that still boils down to communication. How are you able to communicate your vision to people? So much that they are inspired and they're saying, oh, you know what? I'm jumping on this and I want to do this. So it was just them saying, you know what? Give us what we need. I provided every information. They went to schools, reached out to the heads of schools, got the permission that they needed, and boom, it happened. We got the data and moved them into the mentorship academy.
So how much does communication affect business? Now, let me put it this way. There are some CEOs per se that may be like, I don't really need to study communication. Come on, I just have these guys. Come on, you do this, you do that, you do that. So how does communication affect business as a whole?
That takes me to leadership communication.
Okay, wow.
You know that leadership is influence, right?
Yep.
You agree?
I agree.
Now, as a leader, how you lead is going to affect a lot how you are responded to. Leadership is supposed to be 100% influence. There should not be any form of control or force. The moment you say you are a leader and you have to bring in force or control, then that's not leadership anymore. Now, how do you communicate in a way that, one, you're able to inspire people to, first of all, buy into your vision without having to coerce or having to force them? How do you ensure that you manage people? People management is difficult. In fact, I heard a quote that it's easier to manage animals than to manage people. Because animals, they are one way traffic. Just go straight. Use your stick.
We'll still give example.
So they will just go. But humans are rational. If you tell them go, they will ask you, why should I go? Why this time? Why
are you telling me to go?
why should it be you that is telling me to go? So how do you communicate in a way that people listen to you?
Yeah.
And so many leaders have failed today because they are not good communicators.
Mm.
In leadership communication, there is a thing as emotional intelligence.
Mm.
In leadership communication, there's a thing as empathy.
Mm.
In leadership communication, there's a thing as feedback. So all these things, the body of knowledge that you have, that you embody as a good leader, and then that makes you to be able to communicate with people. So communication is a vital part of leadership. Let me round up by saying this. I used to say that communication is like a bridge.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And you as a leader, you have the responsibility to ensure that that bridge is solid. That is good communication. Because if the bridge is solid, then you can easily connect with the people that you're trying to connect to.
Yeah.
But when that bridge is shaky and all, they'll have issues with you.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So communication is very important. Very important, because it's through communication that we connect. It's through communication that we relate with ourselves. So if you're not a good communicator, there'll be a lot of friction in your leadership style, and you will not be able to bring people together.
Yeah.
Okay, there is this saying that says you can communicate all you want, but if the person is not understanding, then the communication is useless. Do you agree to it, or what can you say about it?
I totally agree. Okay, so you want to say something?
No, keep going.
Communication is connection.
Yep.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
I can be still, I'm not communicating.
Mm.
So the fact that I can even be speaking the biggest grammar in the whole world, but you guys are not resonating with what I'm saying. I feel like if that was the case, I would have ended this session. And you'd be like, David, who did you bring on this show? Right? But the reason we can go on and on is because there's resonance, there is connection.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So if you are communicating, the evidence of successful communication is that the recipients of your information can attest to the fact that they successfully understand what you've communicated, and there is feedback. So if you are communicating and there is no feedback, then you should know that there is a problem. So communication is entirely about communication.
Like a two-way thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So the way I'm looking at your story now is like your whole stuff was built on the bedrock of communication. If I can say, I'm not saying it is, but like communication is one of the most, should I say, one of the most effective tools you are using.
Yes.
Changemakers Africa, you're communicating to the kids. Core Academy is to teach people how to communicate, and then maybe your educational stuff. And that's what I'm just saying. So looking back, let's zoom out now. Your starting point, the knowledge learning gap that you had, how you got into what you're doing, and all of that. What can you say about that? We thank God. Yeah,
That is what they will always say.
No, we
It's
thank
by
God.
the grace of God.
Let me help her to
Thank
start.
God,
Thank
though.
God.
Thank God, though. I'm
me
sure
tell
she was
myself.
about to start.
No, she will say it.
She was about to start with that.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you already said that part for me.
Hence,
However, I would say that it's been a journey of involvement.
Yeah.
And that's why I would say that one chapter always leads to another.
Yeah.
It's like a scenario of reading a book. You're not going to go and start from chapter 10.
Yeah.
If our lives start so good, then life will be so boring. I'm telling you, why don't we watch the last scenes of movie before we watch the first scenes? Because they're taking us on a journey.
Yeah.
So you watch chapter 1, like, hey, this suspense, okay, let's watch season 2. Next one, hey, what we have with this guy? And then finally you get to the end and everybody's either laughing or
They're like,
crying.
guy, this film.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I think every young person out there should see their life as a journey. And a rough face does not mean a rough end. Do you understand? You could be experiencing a terrible phase at this time, but understand that you're on a journey.
Yeah.
And know that you are going somewhere. Don't stop until you are there. Don't stop until you are there. So for me, I would say that this is just even like 1% of my life. By the time I'm telling my life story in like 60, 70 years, it will be a lot of more sins, more challenges, and more victories.
And that was God. God is a, can I say a word? Lord have mercy on me. God is a crazy filmmaker. So you don't write film and be like, guy, this film go choke. Angels, watch this lady. This film choke.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, know that it's going to be a victorious end at the end of the day. If you don't stop, if you keep pushing. I did not start like this.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life, who is Oyinola? Nobody knew me, but a lot of stages, a lot more to come, and it's just been a beautiful journey. So if you continue understanding that there is a destination, then you are going to, at the end of the day, have a lot of victories and a lot of challenges too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, people will be able to look at your story and be inspired by your story. Yeah. So
You talk so confident, of which I like, Yeah. But
thank you.
were there any doubts in your journey? Like when it started, I'm not sure it's communication things for me, Let me just back out first.
with the king.
With the
It must be a journey. It must be a journey.
So
Yes, I would not even lie. Are there times that I've doubted, what are you even doing? Yes. A lot of times, like I think we had that conversation when we started.
Yeah.
For every trailblazer, there would have been points where you're like, hey, who sent me?
Who sent
Even
me?
Changemakers Africa, like, who sent me? But then you're reminded of the beginning of the story and the pictures that God has shown you and where you're going to. You're just like, you know what? Let's keep pushing. So there have been times like that in my life.
So write the vision, make it play upon tables.
Upon tables. You go back to that and like, we have not gotten there. Let's go.
Okay, so let's use this to wrap up. What are your words, your last words? Not your last words, What are your words you have to say to the people watching you right now?
Okay, so to everyone watching, I would say that your life is a beautiful story that is unfolding, and get a grasp of that and hold on to it, so that when you get to those roadblocks, you know that it's just the suspense part. We're getting to the beautiful end. So keep pushing and continue to thrive, and then build capacity. Because it doesn't matter what the prophecies are. If you don't build capacities for the manifestation, they will remain prophecies. So you have the responsibility to turn those prophecies into manifestation, because that's how people see your light and they glorify your Father which is in heaven. So I'm rooting for you, and yes, it's going to be great for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's not just prophecy. Go and walk.
Manifest.
Faith without works is dead.
It's dead.
Yeah, that's
So,
it's not just prophecy. Let me just tell you.
We are happy and grateful for you.
Thank you for having me.
Being on this show, and it's inspiring. Like, I mean, I'm short of words.
I know we are all short of
Yeah,
words.
so,
Thank you.
Yeah.
hopefully, one day, we'll get you back on this podcast.
We will. And then
I'll be glad to be back.
We'll ask her for more shiggies, you understand?
No, that shege is successfully seen. As you are going, there's a level of shege that, I've gone through this one. This one is just, okay, so, there you have it. At least you can see she's beautiful, she's intelligent, she's charming.
That's even like marketing.
No, of course. I've not seen someone with all these traits. She talks effectively, she communicates well, and now, I would, before we go, can you tell us how we can reach you, your social media handle?
Yeah, definitely. I am Oyinola Onotade on all social media platforms. So just go there and search Oyinola Onotade.
Okay.
Boom.
Do your searches, your searches, and then you land at her page and see the wonderful, and you see the wonderful things God is using through her.
You see our video content too.
Yeah. So that's all, folks, for today.
Thank you.
Till we see again, make sure you keep watching Decan Talks Business. Okay, I'm your host, Buzue Odira.
I don't understand why you said favorite. So I don't know. Please don't mind him, Jerry. I am your lovely co-host. I won't say handsome. Say I'm fine already. Normal. So I'm your lovely co-host, Esdavo David. And should I say you're welcome, and we are hoping to see you on Decan Talks.
And we have been praying for you.
And your coming here is not by accident.
It's not by accident. Okay.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for watching.
Next episode, because we're gonna see you. If I find you, you will not like me, because if I find you, do come back. Yeah. So you have a lovely day. Goodbye. Mwah.
Thank you.
Take your flowers. Bye.